So welcome, welcome, welcome to 5 Secrets of Storytelling that attract, engage, and convert more prospects to customers. I'm totally jazzed to be sharing it with you. Hi, I'm Kathryn Gillette, creator of the Hero Method, and truly I feel privileged and honored that you've taken the time to be here and that you're going on this journey with me. And as co-pilot, I'm delighted to introduce my fantastic production manager, Yolanda. She'll be keeping an eagle eye on all the background details from connection issues to your comments and questions in the chat box. So Yolanda, are you there? I know you had to leave for a sec, but are you back with us? Apparently not yet, but she'll be back with us in a minute, I'm sure. Not a problem. We'll just keep
I'm
it.
back
Oh, there you
and
are.
still troubleshooting a bit, although I do see the chat.
Perfect.
So at least that's going.
Perfect. That's awesome. Thanks. Thanks for checking in, Yolanda. And say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
She'll be keeping an eye on us on the chat. So if there's any issues that you encounter, be sure to put that in because she'll be checking in on that. Okay, great. So first, I'd like us to get to know each other over a nice warm cup of tea. I have a degree in psychology, minor in anthropology. I have 40 years experience in marketing and sales communications. As a consultant, I've worked with global names like Microsoft, Amazon, and Dell. And as a copywriter, my work has been translated for distribution into more countries than are in the UN. In addition to being a coach to entrepreneurs around the world who want to grow their businesses, I'm currently the acting chief marketing officer for an emerging technology company. Now, I don't say any of that to brag. I'm just reassuring you that you're in very good hands for this training. I've been around the block a bunch of times when it comes to storytelling, messaging, and copywriting. But enough about me. I want to talk about you. I'd love to get to know more about you as best we can. So please use the chat feature to, if you haven't already, because we kind of did this in the beginning before we actually got started. We got with those early birds who joined us a little earlier, we were getting to know each other. But if you haven't already, go ahead and put your name in and where you're from. Just first name is fine and where in the world you are. I would love for us all to get a sense of who we all are and where we're connecting from. And so as for me, for those of you who didn't know this yet, I am in central Mexico. That's where I'm living the dream in a beautiful city called San Miguel de Allende. And while I give you a little time to tell us your name and where in the world you are, I'd like to say that I'm assuming you're here because you want to learn new ways to attract more people to you, to your offers, and to your mission and your vision. And if that all sounds good, then you're in the right place. So now I'd like to say hello to you, Yolanda. Who have we got?
We've got Ruth, who's coming in from Switzerland. We've got Kathy from Maryland, Nina from Sonoma, Kathy from Dallas, Michelle from Berlin. Wow, we have people from all over the world here. Denny from Texas, and wow, and the folks we had from before are from Minneapolis as well.
Awesome.
They keep coming in, Kathryn. Hard
Awesome.
to keep up.
That's fantastic. So also I want to make sure everybody in the chat box, make sure to click the chat button and the bottom, bottom of your screen is the chat button. Click that so the chat feed will come up. And then make sure you're set for all panelists and attendees. That way you can see, what everyone else is, what they're all saying, and you can participate and communicate and connect with everybody there. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's so great. I'm so excited. It's just such a wonderful thing, isn't it? I have I have a love-hate relationship with technology because it's so awesome when it works and so frustrating when it doesn't. But times like this, I just feel so blessed to live in a time where we can all be here, right here, all over the world. We're all here at the same time, sharing this moment together. It's fantastic. Thanks so much for being here. Now, if you're like most entrepreneurs out there, you're having trouble figuring out how to talk and write about what you do in a way that attracts people to you and your business. So if that's true for you, honestly, there's nothing to be ashamed of. You're not alone, and you're in the right place. I have every faith that you are an expert in what you do and that you have amazing gifts to offer your audience. The problem is you just haven't yet found the words that help your audience really get that, to really get how you can totally transform their world. Well, get ready, because today's training is going to change the way you approach all of your marketing and sales efforts. You're going to discover how to use the hidden power of story to convey even the most complex concepts in a way that your audience will be attracted to, will find captivating, will build trust with you, and will leave them wanting to learn even more from you. And all of that comes together to make the whole sales process easy and natural for everyone concerned. So here's what we're going to cover today. Secret number one is going to be about where the hidden power of story lies. Now, surprise, it's not in telling stories from beginning, middle to end. And secret number two is related to the universal shape of powerful stories. This is going to be another surprise. That shape is the same structure of every blockbuster movie and every best-selling novel out there, and you already instinctively know what it is. Secret number three is going to be about the power of symbols, and the surprise here is they are way more powerful than you think, and you're going to actually experience the power of them during this presentation. Secret number four is going to be about how to use the hidden power of story to easily go from your initial idea to your final keep them reading content. And the surprise is, once you know the first three secrets, this part is actually going to come easily. And secret number five is going to be about how to monetize the hidden power of story, how to make money from knowing how to use the hidden power of story. And all I can say is be sure to stay to the end to find out. And if those aren't enough reasons to stay with me, then be sure to stay to the end for the special attendance prize. It's a video training called Grammar Who Needs It. It's a really fun interactive training that'll set you free to confidently write and speak from your authentic self, the place where real connection and easy sales happen. And don't let the word grammar scare you. It really isn't really about grammar. It's about coming from your authentic voice. Also, at the end, I'll be extending a very special invitation to you so we can continue our journey of discovery together. Now, before we begin, I want you to set aside distractions, turning off your phone, closing all other browser windows. This actually is really important because the concept of multitasking is a myth. The brain can only focus on one thing at a time, and I'm going to be going through this material really fast. My goal is to honor your time and get through all 5 secrets in about 30 minutes. So have your pen and paper or your digital device ready. You're going to be taking lots of notes. Now, as we go along, please share your questions and ahas, anything that strikes you as new and interesting, and any questions that you may have about what I'm wanting to explain to you. Both are really helpful for me and for the rest of the group to see. There will also be Q&A at the end of the presentation, and where you'll be able to actually, I will unmute you so you can actually talk and ask the questions directly, and I will stay as long as it takes to answer everyone's question.
Kathryn,
Yeah,
excuse me for interrupting.
sure.
We're seeing a gray bar at the bottom of the slide,
Okay,
and
good.
I see it as well. And we tried to fix it with view options to no avail.
Okay, is that better?
No.
It's still, yeah, because I know what it is. It's my bar here. Is it, hold on a second. Let me see if I can move it. Is it moving now?
It's only covering more gray area.
Yeah, I don't know what I can do.
Right.
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can, is it now in like the directly in the middle?
No, it's at the bottom, and now there's a white portion to the left and a gray portion.
So how about now?
Okay, that's better. Let me check here to the original size. Yes, now I can see it fine. There's a white bar at the bottom
Yes.
and the logo on top.
Yep. And it
Okay,
should
oh,
be.
now somebody has commented and it's true. There's a gray bar on the top now. It's
Okay.
moved.
Yeah, that's just going to be the way it is because that's kind of my control panel that you guys are seeing. So,
Okay,
but the material will be below that.
okay,
Yeah. Okay,
thank you.
great. Thank you. Yeah, thanks everybody for that feedback. That's really helpful. Okay, wonderful. Awesome, awesome. All righty. Okay, so now we're going to take a few seconds to slow down and reground so we can get the most out of our time together. We're going to start by taking 3 deep breaths. And I want you to go with, it's just going to take a few seconds. Go with me on this.
No audio, Kathryn?
Okay, how's that? Is
I
that
can hear
better?
you now.
Okay, okay, good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so we'll go back to we're basically taking 3 deep breaths so that we can just settle in and calm down and get the very most out of our time together. So you're going to close our eyes. We're going to take 1 deep breath, and as we let it out, we release that rush around pace of our day so far. We take a 2nd breath in. And releasing that calms our entire nervous system down. And we take a 3rd breath in. And releasing it slows our mind down so it will be more receptive to learning. Very weird. I don't know why. I keep getting muted. Okay, sorry about that. So again, with your eyes closed, I want you to set the intention that you're going to lean into this training today and come away with a bunch of new discoveries that will forever change the way you create your marketing materials. Are you in? Okay, great. Take 1 last breath. Open your eyes and let's get started. This is very weird. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we're going to get started learning today's 5 secrets of storytelling. I want to begin with a story of someone who took what you're going to learn today and made it dance. His name is Ryan Eliason. You may be familiar with him. He's a very big player in the online coaching world. And one of the reasons for that is because he uses what you're going to learn today. His story begins when he was my coach, and he had been working on building his business for about 10 years, but it wasn't growing nearly as fast as he knew it can. Well, I learned so much from him in his training. He's an amazing, amazing coach. That as a way of saying thank you, I offered to give him a free consulting package worth about $7,500. So he jumped at the chance and he took what he learned and wrote emails to launch his paid program. Now, I'm going to read the email he sent me about the results that he got. So before using the hero, so this is the email that he sent me. Before using the hero method messaging, our previous largest launch had brought in $400,000 in sales. Then we sent out emails using the hero method messaging, offering the same webinar series with the same paid program offer as we had before. So an aside to you about that. So in other words, what he did, all of his his webinars, his free webinars, his paid program, all of that was the same. The only difference were the emails going out to invite folks into to watch the webinars and to join his program. That's the only thing that was changing, was the emails going out. So back to his email to me, the results included attracting 73,000 attendees from at least 50 countries and over $700,000 in sales, nearly twice the response and revenue we'd achieved before. In addition to nearly doubling his revenue, Ryan also said this: "It took me 10 years to build a list of 45,000, then using the hero method, it took me 2 weeks to attract 73,000. Now, this is a story of an entrepreneur who already had a highly successful multiple six-figure business, and using the hero method and the secrets I'm about to share with you, he was able to nearly double that business. So whatever level your business is at now, imagine what it can do for you. So that speaks to the value of what you're going to learn today. Now I'm going to show you 2 real-life examples of postcards from yoga studios. One uses what you will learn today, one does not. So let's compare and contrast. Tired of overcrowded classes that leave you feeling frustrated, bored, or injured? It doesn't have to be that way. Imagine yoga that makes you feel safe, strong, accomplished, and relaxed. Your experience begins before you get to the front door. You enter an oasis of palm trees, plants, and a flowing fountain. You open the door and you're greeted with welcoming smiles. The space is clean, bright, and smells pleasant. You settle in. You hear your instructor's voice. The rest of the world falls away. You indulge in your me time for the day. You enjoy the challenge of your class. The personalized direction you receive is priceless. You know you are staying safe. You feel stronger, more confident each week. After class, you re-enter the day anew. You're refreshed with a sense of accomplishment and calm. Welcome to the Slow Body Experience. We'd love for you to feel this way too. Give us a call, 555-123-4567, and we'll help you get started. Okay, now compare that to this one. This is also a real-life example. I picked it up at a different yoga studio. I've just changed the name to protect the innocent. XYZ Yoga Spa, a registered Yoga Alliance school, was born out of the passion to share wellness. We believe in the integration of your physical, mental, and spiritual health to help you achieve the optimal state of well-being and balance. This is how we created your yoga classes and spa treatments. Our city's premier yoga and spa center, we are an oasis for relaxation and rejuvenation. The center is a place to play, explore, discover, and find your balance. We are a warm environment, often literally, and feature a variety of daily classes, male and female changing rooms with showers, a fresh juice bar, and a spacious classroom where you will find a wealth of new friends and self-awareness. Which content did you resonate with more? Which yoga experience were you more attracted to? Or better yet, which yoga studio are you more likely to go to? I'm going to bet it was the first one. The second one was created based on the current, quote, best practices approach to marketing communications. But even when it tries to be human, it's just not enough to overcome those best practices approaches of listing out features and benefits. And so it does nothing to inspire us to explore their solutions further. Which brings us to secret number 1. The hidden power of story is in the unconscious mind. Imagine yourself driving down Main Street where you live. It's relatively early in the morning and it's really cold. Up ahead is the local bookstore, and there's a long line of people waiting for the bookstore to open. It's because there's, let's say, a Harry Potter sequel that's going to be released that day, and every one of these people is wanting to be one of the first ones to start reading it. Next week, you're out driving again, same part of town. It's pouring down rain. Your windshield wipers are thrashing back and forth, tossing that rain aside. And up ahead is a movie theater. And people are standing in line around the block waiting to see a movie. And you think to yourself, why do people do this? Why do people wait in line in all weathers to buy a book or to see a movie? Well, it turns out it's the exact same reason that people will stand in line in all weathers to buy the next cool gadget. And ultimately, it's the same reason that people buy everything. They're not standing in line because of the author of the book, and it's not because of the star of the movie, and it's not because of the technology of the gadget. It's because those stories and movies and gadgets connect with us on a deep unconscious level. That's where the real power of story lies. As one example of the unconscious power of story, I'm going to click to the next screen and we'll read the words that are on it together. Yes, it's going to be an excerpt from a novel I wrote, but the only reason I'm using it is because I have the copyright there too. So ready? Just take in what comes up next. Plymouth, England, December 1577. The door to the alehouse flew open like an assault, its hinges groaning in protest. Startled, Richard stepped back. Two drunken mariners stumbled out onto the cobblestones, arms wrapped round each other's shoulders. They let loose a tune, more shouting than singing, and wove their way over uncertain legs toward the wharf. From beyond the open door, the stench of the tavern made its way through the storm. By the time it reached Richard, it was faint but undeniably foul. A disembodied arm reached out from the dark interior and slammed the portal shut. Richard blinked up at the low gray sky. Rain splattered his face. To remain standing in the wind and weather seemed preferable to entering. I am 22 years of age, a gentleman and a scholar. Jesu, how could my life have led me to this place? What did you just see in your mind's eye? What did you see the drunken mariners? Maybe you saw the arm reach out and slam the door shut. Maybe you felt the rain on your face. Did you have a visceral sense that this was not a friendly place? Well, that's not just storytelling, it's science. Scientists have been using MRI studies to understand how our human brain responds to what we hear and what we read and what we see. And what they've shown in this regard is that when you read content like this, your brain is literally lighting up in the same ways as if it was happening to you. Now, scientists call these mental simulations. I call it using words to paint pictures, but it's really more than painting pictures. It's not just seeing things in your mind. It's truly experiencing what you're reading, the sights, the sounds, the smells, sensations. All of that is happening in your brain as if it were happening to you. You are actually experiencing what you're reading. Remember the postcard for the yoga studio that used the hero method? Remember how it painted the picture of what it would be like to be there, what it looked like, and what it felt like to be there? That was content that did a great job of generating mental simulations in your mind. It simulated the experience in your mind, right? That's where mental simulations, where that phrase comes from. And that's a huge piece of why you were more attracted to that yoga studio than the studio that didn't use mental simulations. Science keeps proving the importance of mental simulations over and over again. There simply is no other way to change people's mindsets, to be persuasive, or as I prefer to say, to be inspiring, to inspire people to take action, which is the absolute opposite of manipulating people to take action, right? Also, science keeps proving that when we use mental simulation, information itself is remembered more easily, accurately, and persuasively, which is exactly what we all want to do, right, with our marketing materials. We want to make sure that what we share with our people is easily, accurately, and persuasively remembered, or that we are able to actually connect with them on a way that inspires them to remember what we have to say and to take action. So to recap this section, one of the most important things you can do in your marketing materials is to paint pictures in your audience's mind so that you can help them literally experience the concepts you want to convey. Now, let's move on to the power of emotion. This is something I would love for you to write down and post it up on your wall because it's super, super important. My audience's reaction to emotional content is more important than all the facts I can throw at them. Let's dive into this more deeply. I'm going to tell you a story to illustrate this. So when I was in high school, I had a best friend, and my best friend had an older brother. And I had a total crush on my best friend's older brother. And my friend's older brother had original Mini Cooper. They're now called Mini Minis, and his car looked a lot like this one. Um, and in fact, right now, I can remember standing on a corner in our town, and he was driving by, and I can still see him driving by. I had such a crush on him, ergo, I had a crush on his car, just by association. So when the new Mini Coopers came out, I did not connect the two at the time, by the way. But when the new Mini Coopers came out, all I knew was I wanted a Mini Cooper. Now, my father had taught me. He was a hobbyist mechanic, and he told me never buy a car the first one out the chute because there's going to be things that you need to, that the manufacturer needs to work out, little issues. And so I did. I investigated, what people were experiencing. I waited a year, and I read what people were experiencing being owners of Mini Coopers. And sure enough, there were issues. There were issues. There were things that were imperfect about them, and it being basically a BMW, when there were issues, it wasn't cheap to repair them. So with all that information in mind, and all of the warning signs being sent at me about it, what did I do? I bought the car. And by the way, just want you to know, my mind is a very rational, empirical mind. I was trained in the scientific method at university. An experiment I conducted in my junior year was accepted for publication in a scientific journal. So even with all that, analysis going on, I still made an emotionally based decision. So here's what was going on. So the limbic brain is the reddish area in the middle, and this is the root of all emotion. So we're going to call it the emotional brain. The neocortex is the bit with all the foldy stuff in it. That's basically our rational mind. The rational mind is a fantastic pattern finder, but it's not, as it turns out, the decision maker. What happens is that all sensory input that comes to us, whether it's sight, sound, touch, taste, smell, all of that sensory input first hits the limbic brain, our emotional brain. Then that input gets sent to the neocortex, our rational brain. So as brilliant as our rational brain is, it's got a huge handicap compared to the emotional brain in terms of decision making. The rational brain is a sluggish turtle compared to the cheetah-fast emotional brain. What the arrows represent here is the two-way exchange between the emotional brain and the rational brain. Emotion-based messages, right, so the input comes in right from the outside, all the sights and sounds and smells, comes into the limbic brain. The limbic brain sends emotion-based messages, sends that out into the rational brain. The rational brain then sends some rational input back into the decision-making process, and round they go until a final decision is made. But the emotional brain zips out messages at 40 meg per second, but the rational brain sloshes along at only 40 bits per second. Imagine a bicyclist going 17 miles an hour. That's a pretty good clip on a bike. Now imagine a space rocket heading out for outer space. It's going over 17,000 miles an hour. Bicycle versus space rocket. But the rocket is only going 1,000 times faster than the bike. Your emotional brain works 1,000,000 times faster than your rational brain. There is 1,000,000 times more emotional perception pouring into the decision-making mix. The rational brain, with all of its logic, doesn't stand a chance. That's what we're talking about here. So back to my car buying story, because my limbic brain was so emotionally charged with desire for a Mini Cooper, and I was not aware of why. It wasn't until I did this research that I went, oh, that's why I was feeling that. It was totally unconscious. All I knew was I had this very strong emotional connection to Mini Coopers, and I wanted one, and no facts about its idiosyncrasies were going to influence my decision. In fact, my rational brain was able to rationalize the decision, and I thought it was making a very smart decision. In summary, reasoning does not drive behavior. It's the emotional brain that initiates the human call to action. It's the emotional brain that is what's driving your audience to take action and respond to what you have to say to them. Now, yes, we must create positive emotional connections with our audience. And the most important emotion by far is trust. Turns out trust is the human glue of connection. Emotions are important, but trust is essential. Again, based on scientific research, we want our audience's brain to respond with, this feels good, I am safe, this business or concept is not a threat to me. If not, they're drawing away, and it's all totally unconscious. And it's happening in millionths of a second. The fact is, from the very first connection with your audience, you're up against a powerful emotion of resistance. Because whatever it is we're talking to our audience about, it involves change, and human beings are hardwired to resist change or to be wary of change. So we need to be keenly aware of this and counter it with a more powerful emotion, trust. So this is all to say that the power of story, the power of storytelling is not in telling stories from beginning, middle to end. It's about the human unconscious and the ability for stories to be able to create emotional connection. That's also unconscious emotional connection. And so that's really where the power of story lies, is in the human unconscious. Now, let's move on to secret number 2, the universal shape of powerful stories. We're going to start with what I call the motifs of transformation. These are basically the outline of all great stories. They are the way these great stories flow from beginning and middle to end. So that's what a motif is. It's kind of like the phases or the kind of like the chapters, if you will, of all the great stories. And this does come from the work of Joseph Campbell. If you're familiar with it, he wrote the book Hero with a Thousand Faces. So my work is definitely an homage to Joseph Campbell's work, for those of you who are interested in such things. And boy, I can geek out about such things. So I'm going to stop now and just move on. So, in taking you through these motifs, I'm going to use the examples of the Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings series and Star Wars, the original Star Wars movie that is now called Episode 4, A New Hope. Now, no worries if you have not seen these movies. All of the characters and storylines are so well known by now. Everyone always gets the references and examples that I use. Now, you might be curious about this photograph. I use it because, again, I have the copyright there too. It's an old school Polaroid of R2-D2 and CP3O with some guy on the set of Star Wars. Well, that some guy is my brother. He was a mechanical animator in the movie industry and worked at Lucas Studios for quite a while. One of his jobs was keeping R2-D2 working. He also, by the way, created the mechanical Energizer Bunny. So that's my being cool by association story. Now, given the time we have, I'm going to quickly take you around the story cycle that is the foundation of all great stories. The first phase is the wounded land. Every great story starts in the wounded land, and then the adventure begins. So in the beginning of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker is living in the wounded land. It's the desert planet he lives on with his aunt and uncle. He feels a sense that something's missing, but he doesn't know what it is. So that's him living in the wounded land, just day to day, going about his business, not knowing that things are really, really broken. in his world. The next phase is the quest. The quest is always personal. The hero realizes it's up to them to do something about how their world is broken. So Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter, and Katniss Everdeen, for that matter, all took action to fulfill their destiny, so to speak. And in the process, they learned a lot. So the quest is about taking action and learning along the way. Ultimately, what heroes are looking for is the elixir. This is what the hero needs to find in order to fix what's not working in their world. In Star Wars, for example, the elixir is the good side of the Force. Using the Force wisely is the only way to destroy the Empire and save the universe. Now, the mastery phase is when the heroes learn to master the elixir. Luke is trained by Obi-Wan and then uses the Force to destroy the Death Star. Harry uses the skills he has learned to destroy he who could not be named. And Frodo is finally able to destroy the One Ring by calling upon the inner strength he's gained from all of his adventures. All great stories end with a profound transformation. The hero has fully engaged in the quest and the mastery, has learned the skills or insights they need in order to master the elixir, and because of that, the world or the universe is a better place. The wounded land is healed. The Death Star, Lord Voldemort, and the One Ring have been destroyed, and every one of those worlds is a better place because of it. Now, how this translates for us as marketers is that this is the journey of your audience. Your target market, your audience of ideal prospects, is in the wounded land. Things are broken for them in their world because you are not in it. Okay? The quest is the time when they embark, they decide they need to seek a solution to what's ailing them. So they're looking for a solution. Then they choose your elixir. And we'll talk about a minute about your role in all of this in a minute. But this is their journey we're talking about here. So then you help them master the elixir. You help them learn how to make your elixir dance. And then their world becomes a better place because they have learned how to master your elixir. Their wounded land is now healed. Doesn't that make sense? We'll come back to this again in a bit, but first, let's explore archetypes of transformation. Now, archetypes hold universal symbolic meaning in story. They're much more than character types, but that's basically what we're talking about here. These are the main types of characters that we see in all great stories. We don't have time today to explore them all, but we do have time to explore two major archetypes of transformation. Now, notice I'm calling these motifs and archetypes of transformation. That's because all great stories are stories of transformation. And these two archetypes are always stage center for stories of transformation: the hero and the mentor. So get ready. This is going to blow your mind. The hero is the one who is transformed by the adventure. So Luke in Star Wars is transformed from a farm boy to a Jedi Knight. Harry Potter is transformed from a muggle, or so his aunt and uncle would have him believe, to a powerful wizard. Which reminds me, the hero is gender neutral. Katniss Everdeen is also a hero. I don't use hero versus heroine. Hero works for both genders. The mentor is the source of wisdom that the hero taps into in order to discover and master the elixir. The role of mentors in all great stories is to give heroes helpful insight, advice, training, even magical tools that all move the hero forward in their adventure. Now, this next point is really important. It is not possible for heroes to achieve their goal without a mentor. It just never happens. Obi-Wan, Yoda, Gandalf, and many of the teachers at Hogwarts are all mentors. What this means is, in the journey of your audience is the hero. You are their mentor. They are Luke and Frodo on their journey, and you are Obi-Wan and Yoda and Gandalf, supporting them on that journey to find their elixir, to heal their wounded land. Can you feel a shift in that? You are not the hero. Your solution is not the hero, and that's what we keep being told out there. And this is one of the huge paradigm shifts of the hero method, is your audience is the hero. You are their mentor, and your solution is the elixir they seek that will heal their wounded land. So I really want to drive this home and make sure you really get this shift. Your audience, again, is the hero, and you are their source of wisdom. You are the mentor that creates marketing materials that give your heroes helpful inside advice and training that moves your heroes forward in their journey to discover and master the elixir that's going to transform their lives. And again, the elixir that your heroes are seeking and that you as mentor help them find and master, that elixir is your solution. Is your mind sufficiently blown? I'd love for you to write in your ahas and questions about this, or jot them down and make sure that you ask them or mention them during the Q&A at the end. Now, let's move right along to secret number 3, the power of symbols. This one's really fun. I'm really excited to share this one with you too. Now, as we know, symbols are a thing that represents or stands for something else, right? So turns out symbols are really super powerful because they immediately connect with our unconscious mind. I consider that there are 2 main kinds of symbols that you want to use a lot of. The first are basically what I'm considering written symbols. They're otherwise known as metaphors. Let me give you an example. After World War II, astrophysicists identified a spatial anomaly that they called gravitationally completely collapsed objects out in space. And the reason I have here, what does GCCO mean, is that in the technology world, I have a ton of experience in the technology world. What they do is they come up with phrases like gravitationally completely collapsed objects, realize that that's hard for people to understand, so they turn it into an acronym and think that's better, but it doesn't have any meaning either. So what John Archibald Wheeler did was change the world around this spatial phenomenon. He was actually working with Niels Bohr, who's a quantum physicist, and Albert Einstein, who was a relativity guy, and they were working together to find the unified theory. Well, when John Wheeler heard about this spatial phenomenon, these gravitationally completely collapsed objects, he renamed them black holes, right? So now suddenly, other physicists are more interested in this phenomenon. The press starts getting interested in this phenomenon because, wow, there's something black in space, but isn't space already black? And it's a hole, isn't it basically a space hole? Wow, what's going on here? Really intriguing, really stimulating curiosity versus gravitationally completely collapsed object, which literally describes what this phenomenon is, but isn't very engaging. So this metaphor, black hole, became this metaphor that now is a household word. The second kind of symbol I would want you to use a lot of are visual symbols. You can use visual symbols freely and easily in your websites, ebooks, presentations of any kind. One example of such a symbol that because I use them, obviously, I think you've noticed, but for example, that iceberg picture that I showed you a few minutes ago, right? The iceberg was a photograph of an iceberg, or a visual image of an iceberg, but it was symbolizing the unconscious. The fact is, visual symbols are as old as humanity itself. We are hardwired to emotionally respond to visual symbols, and that's why they're important to us in conveying concepts in ways that connect deeply with our audience. If you think symbols are just lines on paper, just take a note. What's your reaction to this? For those of you listening to the audio version of this, we're looking at a swastika. a Nazi Germany version of a swastika. So the simple black and white image elicits a very strong negative emotion, right? Now, how about this? Now this one may be generational. This is a peace symbol, and it is packed, and it has packed a powerful punch in the past. Wow, a lot of P's in that one. But certainly it was super meaningful in the 1970s. So now what's your reaction to this one? This is the yin-yang symbol. Now, remember that symbols are cultural, so be sure to use symbols that you know your audience will respond to in the emotional way you want them to. You want to use symbols that will create the emotional connection that you want to create. But some symbols are universal and as old as human culture itself, like spirals. The spiral is one of the oldest symbols known to man, and it still has resonance with us today. You may not be able to put your finger on it as you look at this, but it does resonate on some level, doesn't it? It's not just lines on paper. So what ancient symbols like this mean is a fascination of mine, and I'm not going to go and geek out on you about it, but suffice it to say that symbols do have meaning far beyond the shapes that appear on paper. Now, take a look at this visual. It's a photograph of a sunset. Now, notice your emotional response to looking at this sunset. Oh, sorry. It's a sunrise. Now, notice the difference in your emotional response. That's because sunrises symbolize something different than sunsets. Now let's move on to secret number 4. It's about how to use the power of story to get from initial idea to final content. Now, I dive into the details of this and all the other secrets we're covering today in an upcoming training series. But given the time we have today, what I can tell you is 3 super powerful tips about how to do this. The key to figuring out what to say and when to say it is all about understanding your audience's decision journey. The Hero Method says that the sales process is not about your sales funnel, it's about your hero's decision journey. At first, they're in the wounded land because you're not in their world. Then you support them in their quest to discover and choose your elixir. Then you help them master the elixir, and because of that, their wounded land is healed. These are all stages of their decision journey. Right? Remember, they're the hero going on this journey, and you are their mentor supporting them in this journey. So here are those 3 super powerful tips. Your initial idea comes from knowing where they are in their journey. For example, if the audience you're going to be writing to is in the wounded land, you don't want to inundate them with a bunch of facts. Remember, feelings, not facts, are what's most inspiring. You need to connect with them emotionally. Then later on in their journey with you, you can start sharing facts with them to help them make the right decision for themselves. So the first thing in knowing where they are in their journey is, who are you writing to? People who know you or people who don't. So if they don't know you, then they're for sure in the wounded land. And if they do know you, then very likely they're in the quest phase and just haven't bought yet. The next step is to identify key things that your audience needs to learn or what they're yearning for. It's not about what you want to tell them. Those really, honestly, not usually, but mostly are 2 completely different things. We have every right to be proud of what we have to offer. But we all, including me, right out the chute, if we want to, hey, on the spot, what do I want to say? We tend to talk about what we do in terms of things that are exciting to us instead of the things that are important to our audience. So once you've got these first 2 things identified, then and only then do you start writing. Seriously. Only until you know where your audience is in their decision journey and what they need to learn or what they are yearning for. Only then do you use secrets 1, 2, and 3 to storyfy those concepts. That's how you make it easy for your audience to get and learn and remember what you have to say. Now, so how do you storyfy those concepts? Well, that ties directly into our next and last secret for today. That's about how to monetize the hidden power story. It's actually pretty simple. You make money using the hidden power story by using what you've learned here. You do that and you'll craft marketing materials that attract, engage, and convert. So I'm going to share an example from a real client I'm working with. The company is called Zebrify, and I'm going to show you a few of the slides from their investor deck. They're actively seeking more investors to grow their business. So this is serious stuff. It's a really big deal for them. Think Shark Tank, right? Basically, my clients need investors to be so attracted to this presentation that the investors will want to give my client a bunch of money. So it's a really big deal. So this is the original first couple of slides I'm going to show you as they brought them to me. So what we have is a slide that has their company name, Zebrify, and their tagline, "The Way You Sell." And the image is a lion on a savanna. The next slide showed on the left, it's something called the traditional sales funnel, and you see a funnily looking thing with a 15% close rate. On the right, you see Zebrify AI-enabled sales conduit, a modified version of the previous funnel with a 90% close rate. Now, the speaker's notes for this slide originally read like this. The traditional sales pipeline contains few very good prospects. There isn't a way to prioritize one deal over another. Historically, according to Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics, only 15% of the deals that end up in the traditional sales funnel close. This results in massive waste of 85%. Contrast this with Zebrify AI-enabled sales conduit. Are you asleep yet? Well, I would be if I was an investor. So what were they doing wrong? They were doling out a bunch of facts. And what do we need to do at all times? We need to create emotional connection. So here's what I recommended. And by the way, and I want to say this too, we would need to create emotional connection no matter who the audience is. Right? You think, oh, these are investors. We need to be all polished and professional. Wrongity, wrong, wrong. Those investors are still human, and they're going to respond to all the things that all human beings respond to. So here's what I recommended. And by the way, I'm basically showing you the visual ideas I presented, not the final design. So the presentation I recommended begins, that the first slide begins with a visual image of zebras, not a lion. So what you're seeing here is the image of zebras with the company name Zebrify and the tagline, "The Way You Sell." Right? So at least there's a consistency here. If you've never heard of Zebrify, you don't know who they are, you're just seeing this for the first time, there's at least a consistency. We got a zebra theme going on here. That lion had no place in the discussion, really. I mean, really, even lions and zebras, not a good combination. So this relates to secret number 1. You want to connect with their unconscious and create a positive emotional connection, right? Now, curiosity is a positive emotion. And so what this does, this is interesting. I want to know more. That's what this image does, right? You look at it, you go, yeah, the way you sell, I want to know what that means. What's the zebra thing? I'm really curious. So here we go. The next slide says, quick, raise your hand when you see the zebra. And you have this really fun, cartoon image of various animals. And the presenter explains, just like you can identify a zebra right away, you can also identify the perfect prospect. That's why we call perfect prospects zebras. And I'm going to show you how we help companies zebrify the way they sell. So instead of the audience wondering what's the zebra thing and being inundated with facts right out of the chute, now we have something really emotionally engaging here and clarifying. So there's no confusion. What there is emotional engagement. So as for secret number 3 being played out here, this is the power of symbols. So the client actually was ahead of me on this because zebras represent the perfect prospect. So the zebras are symbolizing the perfect prospect. So that's using secret number 3. Now, on the left, I changed the traditional sales funnel to hit or miss sales funnel. And then now we have the Zebrify sales conduit. I've eliminated the AI enabled bit. And this connects to secret number 2. So the secret number 2 is the universal shape of powerful stories. So what we have here is the funnel has a bunch of different animals flowing into it on the left and only zebras flowing into it on the right, right? So remember the wounded land? That's what's going on the left. Right, this represents what's broken in the world of sales funnels. So they got all these different kinds of prospects coming in, but they're not the perfect prospects. And on the right is the elixir and the healed land. The elixir is their sales conduit that brings in more zebras to begin with and happily ends in 90% close rates. That's a huge healed land message. And 90% close rates is exactly what this audience is wanting and needing and yearning for. So again, they originally called the left side the traditional sales funnel, and on the right side, AI-enabled sales conduit. But I recommended the metaphor of hit or miss. Now, that's a metaphor, and that tells them a much richer story in a few words. I also recommended they take out the AI enabled because it was in the same league as gravitationally completely collapsed objects. Yes, it accurately described the situation, but was just confusing to the audience. Now, yes, the AI aspect of their solution definitely belongs in the discussion, but much later in the decision journey. Then I recommend they change the images in the funnel to this, right? So you've got all the different animals going into the first one and only zebras on the right. So what's happening here is that telling the story of the solution's power to transform the sales process is shown in a few minutes. In a few images, literally in a few seconds. And we have a bunch of different animals in the hit or miss funnel and only zebras in the Zebrify sales conduit. We've got 15% versus 90%. So another lesson here is you don't have to throw out what you've already created. This shows you that by using the secrets you've learned today, you can dramatically increase the response you get to what you've already created. And also, I hope I've shown you that the power of story isn't in telling a story from beginning to end. It's about using these secrets to magnify the effect your marketing materials have by connecting on this deep unconscious level. Now, here are some other real-world stories from my clients about what happened to them when they used the hidden power story to create their marketing materials. So one client before, their website just wasn't generating any response at all. It was just sitting out there and not generating anything. After using the elixir of the hero method, I got an email from them saying, I'm now receiving calls from qualified prospects every week. Thanks to the hero method. Just by visiting my site, they decide to do business with me then and there. Another client, their website was not working for them either, wasn't helping them deepen relationships with prospects or customers. And then they wrote to me saying, thanks to the hero method, it's now far easier to engage clients and partners. Many tell us how attracted they were to our offerings just because of what they learned on our website. And then this one, the company growth was just frustratingly slow. But as they wrote to me later, thanks to the hero method, our year-over-year growth increased from 33% to more than 62%. So their year-over-year growth almost doubled just by using the hero method in their marketing materials. And then the last example is there's a company who had basically accepted a level of growth that just took years to slowly build sales, but using the hero method, they said they achieved nearly 2 times the response and revenue they ever had. So what I want for you is to be able to sit down and easily and quickly write marketing materials that would generate those kinds of results for your business. And that's why I created a 4-week online training course called 30 Days to Compelling Content, How to Inspire and Attract More Ideal Clients Using the Hidden Power of Story. I created it because I see too many entrepreneurs who don't know how to create valuable and engaging marketing materials. They just don't know what the best next step is to create content that gets results for them. And I love teaching entrepreneurs like you all the inside secrets of how to use the power of story to create marketing materials that attract, engage, and convert more prospects to customers. And here's an example I want to show you of what you can create, literally that you can create by the end of this course. So we're going to see if in fact this is going to work, because I want to link to a video. Let's see. And Yolanda, be sure to let me know if the sound comes through on this, or let me know if it doesn't.
Will do.
This is Hope. Hope's on a mission to heal
No.
the world by getting her message out to people who need her help. Hope's really good at helping her friends and family, and really anyone she comes into contact with, but she's really struggling to turn her passion into a profitable business. One of the biggest gremlins in Hope's world is technology. She pays for a VA and tries to outsource all the technical pieces of her business, but she feels like she's wasting time and money. Nobody seems to care.
Nothing on screen.
There's nothing on screen?
No, just audio.
Really? Oh, bummer. I don't know how to fix. Okay. Let's do this then. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can change this.
Screen is visible.
Okay. Let's try this. Can you see? Okay. Can you see it now?
I can see the screen, yes.
So you see, but she feels like she's wasting time?
No, I don't see that.
Okay.
I
I'm
see
sorry, guys. I'm just not going to be able to figure this out. Can you see it now? So it's
I
like
can
the
see
YouTube.
30 days to compelling content.
No, that's not it. All right. Sorry, guys. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop the share and restart it. Sometimes that's what needs to be done. So I'm going to stop the share, and then I'm going to reshare, and let's see if this will work. Okay, now do you see like the YouTube screen?
I do.
Okay, that's what we needed to do. Okay, we'll start it over. And just notice, everybody, in the very beginning, we're talking about the wounded land. So that's all that this is basically. This person learned what I'm actually, what you like, kind of seeks what you learned here, but learned what I'm teaching the course, and went out and wrote this script.
This is Hope. Hope's on a mission to heal the world by getting her message out to people who need her help. Hope's really good at helping her friends and family, and really anyone she comes into contact with, but she's really struggling to turn her passion into a profitable business. One of the biggest gremlins in Hope's world is technology. She pays for a VA and tries to outsource all the technical pieces of her business, but she feels like she's wasting time and money. Nobody seems to care as much about Hope's success as she does.
So just saying, this is the wounded land, right?
So Hope thought
These
there
are all the
must be a
ways,
better way.
right? So
If
this
others
is
can
the
do it,
beginning of the
I should be able to
quest.
do it too. So one day, Hope decided to go on a journey to search for answers.
So again, this is the quest phase.
She really just wants to spend her time coaching and supporting clients, not dealing with all this technology. Along the path, Hope came across a successful coach named Rob. Rob introduced himself and told Hope that everyone calls him Simple Rob. Rob sells coaching, online courses, VIP weekends, masterminds, and all sorts of programs in his business, just like Hope would like to do.
So this is basically the elixir, right? He's explaining what the elixir is. Now I'm going to actually fast forward to the this. Let's hold on a sec. Okay, so we'll just fast forward to this bit. So if you want, I can play the whole video for you during the Q&A. If you want, I can do
for
that.
his amazing advice, and since she was away from her home computer, she pulled out her phone and went to simplerob.com and signed up. Now Hope runs her business with ease. She's able to bring in an unlimited number of prospects into her system, nurture them so they get to know, like, and trust her, and make irresistible offers to turn her prospects into clients.
So again, this is now the healed land. So before it was the elixir, and then there was also a bit in there about the mastery, about how he actually helps make this happen and how it helped make it dance for her. And now we're in the healed land.
And business is booming. Hope now spends most of her time talking with clients, and she's even working on her first online course now that she has time to do this. And it's all thanks to Simplero and Simple Rob. Just go to simplerob.com to start your free trial. By the way, Hope felt so transformed by her journey that she's now known as Joy. Turn your hope into joy by going to simplerob.com.
Isn't that great? I just love that. I think that's amazing. So yes, you too can create this if you, yes, we'll close your tabs. So, okay, so now I'll share this again. We'll go back to the presentation. Let's see, we'll go back to the presentation and we'll go back here. Oops, gotta move this. Oops, sorry. Okay, sorry, wait, where are we? Oops. Okay. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. This is just basically one example of the kind of marketing materials you can create by the end of this course. Whatever marketing materials you want to create or improve, whether it's your website, sending out emails, your social media posts, or presentation, whatever it is that's your marketing priority, you'll be learning how to create or improve it in the first 2 weeks, and then we'll get started actually creating or improving it in the last 2 weeks. That's going to be the framework of the course. I'm going to be taking you step by step to discover how to avoid creating content that goes out there and gets no response. You're not going to have that happen to you anymore. And you're going to learn how to avoid the dreaded moment when you see that perfectly ideal clients have yet again unsubscribed from your list. You'll discover how to attract new clients and keep them by creating emails and web pages, social media posts that provide value, and that they enjoy reading so much that they continue to look forward to the next one. You'll discover how to go from initial idea to final draft of whatever marketing materials you want to put out there. Starting from wherever you are, I'll show you what the best next step is for you in creating compelling content. And you'll discover how to create content that makes the idea of working with you irresistible to your ideal clients. The course includes live weekly training and coaching by me and no one else, guided one-on-one feedback at every step, homework with deadlines to keep you on track, easy to use worksheets and exercises that take you step by step through the process, lifetime access to recordings of the trainings and coaching, and a private community of fellow learners. You become part of a unique group of entrepreneurs who are all following the Hero Method's philosophy of the importance of authentic relationship and connection. The Hero Method courses always attract amazing entrepreneurs who support, nurture, and nourish one another. Now in Module 1, we'll dive deeply into where the hidden power of story is. You'll learn all the hidden powers of story that captivate readers or listeners so they'll want to stay and read or hear more. You'll learn the hidden powers of story that build trust, which is essential for naturally and easily attracting and converting prospects into customers. Now we lightly touched on these today, but in the course we'll dive deeply and richly into it all. In Module 2, we'll also dive way more into deeply understanding the shape of powerful stories. You'll learn even more elements of story that let you reach anyone in any business, in any culture. Also, we'll dive more deeply into using the power of symbols, whether they're visual images or written words. And you'll discover the 4 universal do's and don'ts about storytelling. In Module 3, we'll roll up our sleeves and dive way deeper into how to monetize the power of story. You will explore for yourself, you'll explore for yourself, oh gosh, I'm moving too fast. You'll explore for yourself so that you'll know what the most important things are to write about for your business and for your audience, and you'll learn how to craft content that makes it easy for your audience to get and learn and remember what you have to say. Then, in Module 4, we'll go from initial idea to keep them reading content. So using a real marketing project for your business, I will guide you on how to choose an engaging idea that's going to take your business to the next level. I'll guide you to take that initial idea to final content. And I'll also guide you on how to be your own best editor along the way. And at the end of the course, you'll come away with the skills to use the hidden power of story to create compelling content that attracts, engages, and converts more prospects to customers. You'll have a system for sitting down and writing from initial idea to final content. You'll actually have a system for doing that. And you'll also have a system for how to be your own best editor along the way. You'll have a flexible template to follow for creating any kind of content, whether it's emails, blog posts, articles, web content, presentations, webinars, whatever it is, you'll have a flexible template that you can follow for creating. So this will just make it that much easier every time you sit down to write. And perhaps most importantly, during the course, you'll decide what your current marketing priority is, and I'd be happy to help you figure that out. So do you need to create or improve your website? Maybe you want to create or improve your email nurture series. Or maybe it's a themed series of social media posts that you either need to create or really pump up the volume on. Or maybe you need to create a kick-ass presentation or a video script like Simple Rob did. Think for a sec. What's on your plate that you know you need to create or improve but are hesitant to start on? Whatever that marketing project is, in the first 2 weeks, you'll learn how to create or improve all of your marketing materials. Then in the last 2 weeks, we'll actually create or improve that very project that will take your business to the next level. So this isn't just a training program. It is absolutely not an information dump. It's a hands-on workshop where you'll come away with real content that you can start using right away to take your business to that next level. So here's a breakdown of the value you're going to get. I do what I call VIP weekends where I work one-on-one with clients for 3 days. The price is now $3,000, although that's going to go up next year, but let's just, for the sake of example, we'll just take that number here. So for $3,000, you and I could sit down and go through this material together, and you'd come away with the exact same learning and the same content at the end. But this being an online group coaching course, which has actually a lot of advantages over one-on-one learning, I've slashed that price to $1,000. And if you sign up now, you'll also get these really great bonuses for free. I'm going to give you a bonus live training called the Hero Methods Decision Journey. The value of that is $750 to $7,000. No, not that valuable, $750. So we lightly touched on this today, but this training will guide you to create a marketing connection plan that will keep you connected with your audience as they move through their decision journey. You'll know what to write and when to write it so you can keep delivering value and building trust and loyalty throughout your hero's decision journey. I'll also give you another live training, and it's called Grammar Who Needs It. And the value of that is $500, and you're going to learn brilliant insights into how to write with your most authentic voice. That's a big piece of the puzzle in writing compelling content. Don't let the word grammar scare you. Again, this will be a really fun exploration into expressing yourself in your own unique, authentic voice. And again, this is you might have remembered that this is a version of this is the attendance prize at the end, but this live training is going to be probably 2 hours, or at least an hour, but 2 hours, because it's going to be hands-on. So we're going to actually be hands-on creating authentic content using your authentic voice, whereas the attendance prize that you'll get at the end of this is a much shorter, just a video training. And you'll also get Rob Goyette's Fast Revenue Copywriting course. The value of that is $1,000. The Marketing Maestro, my words not his, will teach you how to leverage what you've learned in this course to write emails that will build and nurture your list. So the total value of this program is easily $3,250. But as an end of the year special, I'm offering it for only $997. Now, the course starts next week on October 29th. There will be 4 1 to 2 hour live sessions every Thursday. You will, what's going to happen is you're going to submit your questions or content for my review ahead of time, and I will personally review everything you submit to me, and I will personally give you feedback on the next call. Every lesson will be recorded and released the same day, so if you aren't able to make the call, you'll be able to stay on top of the course and the homework. Now, there are often questions about the program, and here are the most common. First, is there a guarantee? Yes, of course there is. It's a 30-day guarantee, which means basically you can go through the whole program, and if you're not happy for any reason, you 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. And also another question that's common is there a payment plan? Yes, in fact, there is. There's a payment plan, 6 payments of $197. So there's one price, the one-time price is $997, or you can choose 6 payments of just $197. And I've structured this so that everybody gets a just ridiculous amount of value for a really affordable price. And of course, the third question is, how do I order? So here's the URL. And Yolanda, if you can enter that into the chat box so people can link directly there, that would be fantastic. So the link that Yolanda is going to put in the chat box, keep an eye out for that. It's going to take you to a page with even more information about the course, and you'll be able to enroll there. Also, note that registration is closing soon, and class size is limited to make sure everyone gets as much of me as possible. So be sure to get in there as soon as possible, make sure you get a seat. I really don't want you to miss this opportunity. This is the last time I'll be teaching this course in 2019, and you don't want to wait another year before you can create content that's going to make such a huge difference in your business. I want you to think about this presentation now that I've just shared with you here today. And think about this. How much of it did you resonate with? How much of it touched you emotionally? How engaged were you with it? And without looking at your notes, how much do you remember about what we just covered in the training? The reason that you resonated with it and were touched emotionally and engaged with it, the reason you do remember and will remember a lot of what I covered in this training is because I used the hero method to create this presentation. I used all the secrets I'm going to teach you in this upcoming training. So if this is the kind of impact you want to have with your audience, don't miss a chance to learn how now. Well, since you're here, that means you win the attendance prize. And yes, it's that 30-minute video lesson called Grammar Who Needs It. Again, it's a recorded version of the live bonus training that I'm going to be offering. The bonus course will be live in at least a full hour, but this is a short video that will, but still, it's short but sweet. It's going to give you lots of insider secrets on how to free yourself from the so-called rules of grammar you were taught in school. I highly recommend it. People really, really love it. So to get immediate access to it, you go to the same link. Actually, it's on the same page. You just scroll down to the bottom, and it's down at the bottom of that same page, just to make it easy. You have the same URL for everything. Now we're going to get to Q&A next, but before I end the slideshow, I want to thank you for being here with me today. I really enjoyed sharing this information with you. I hope you got a ton of value out of it, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you again really, really soon. And I honestly, I hope you'll sign up for the course. I would love to take you through that and help transform your world in terms of creating marketing that just makes a huge difference for your business. So until then, remember, keep saying yes to the adventure. So I'm going to just close it out. I'm going to close out this. Oops, I'm going to stop the share. And I will turn on my video. Here I am back with ya. I want to see what's going on with the chat. There we are. So now we're opening up to Q&A. And let's see, what you can do is you can raise your hand and let me know that you have a question. So just go ahead. If you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand. Anybody? Any questions? I hope that means I did a really great job of explaining everything. Oh, here we go. I have a D. Wilner has a question. So D, I'm going to let you speak. You have now the power to speak. So what you'll do is unmute yourself. On the bottom left of the screen, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Okay, I'm wondering, in the hero and mentor, one thing I thought that we do is that we share our story, our own hero story. In many cases, it depends what we're trying to convey or what our purpose is. But isn't it helpful if we say, I went on this journey and this is how I found the elixir. That's why I'm offering to be a mentor.
Yes, very good. Awesome. You're absolutely right. So, because the key is all mentors have been on the journey before. So Obi-Wan and Yoda, they learned, what they were teaching Luke. So yes, absolutely. So there is your hero's journey, which is your separate journey of how you became mentor. And then there is their journey to honor, their decision journey to honor. Yes, absolutely. You've got it absolutely right.
What
Very
about
good.
trying to reach a bigger audience that may not share in the specifics of your particular situation? So you're saying, I'm this hero, I've gone on this journey, this has been the elixir I've found, even though my circumstances are different from yours, maybe very different, but the essence is the same.
Mm-hmm.
We all have hopes and dreams and different things that we're looking for, and whatever, whether it's physical, emotional, circumstantial, whatever it is it possible to do that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because your journey gave you the wisdom to become mentor. So the specifics of their journey may be different, but you can still relate. There's that similarity. One of the important things is relevance. And so there's a relevance between what you have to offer and what they need. And so, yeah, so exactly. So, I'm not sure what your exact circumstance is, but let's just say, yeah, so my journey is very different. Yeah, that's kind of why I don't really tell my journey per se in this particular story. I actually use Ryan's story because it was more pertinent to the audience. So again, that's the thing to do, is to pay attention to who the audience is and which story is most relevant to them. But my story is I was basically in the corporate world when all of this, came to me. So it isn't really, it's relevant when I'm talking, my story is more relevant when I'm talking to the corporate world. Does that make sense?
Yes, but could you use your corporate story maybe rather than not using it at all? Would it be better to use your own story and say, well, it's a corporate story, but the quality of dealing with people who are my superiors or people who are working, I was working for, or who are working for me, or the quality of the conflict situations we had, or the selling situations we had, or whatever, that can maybe relate to my audience, even though maybe they're not a corporate audience.
Well, yes. I mean, that's the point. It's like what I do in that case is I tell my story, but it's not about my corporate work. It's when I was when I was consulting with corporations, and it's got a side story to that of how I came up with the hero method and how, how that all evolved. So I think you're right. I, I think you absolutely got it right, that the point of the story is it needs to be relevant, and somehow it's a training example. It's a kind of, your story is a metaphor for the journey that you want them to go on. So
Right.
I think we are saying the same thing here.
Okay, and I'd like to maybe ask you further, maybe just an email if you have that, but my goal is, as a writer, wanting to have my writing reach a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I think that whole process of getting it out there is a little different than, but anyway, but I love this, maybe I can email you, or you can let me know how this would work for an author.
Sure. Yes, that's great. That's great. Appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for the question.
That was a great talk. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, anybody else? Who else? Sure, people have questions. I'm not seeing any, but I don't think I'm seeing all the names, actually. Okay, Kimberly. I see Kimberly has a hand up. So I'm going to let you talk, Kimberly. And all you need to do, lower left corner, is unmute yourself. And you have the power of speech. There you go.
Thank you. Wonderful and very inspiring presentation.
Thank you.
I'm curious, how is the course different from your book?
Oh, the book, well, the book covers all of the hero method. So for everybody, if they don't know, I've actually written 2 books on the subject of the hero method, and it covers all the aspects of the hero method. The hero method is more, so this course is focusing in on actually creating content using the hero method. I have another course that's another part of the book that focuses on creating messaging. I call it magnetic messaging. Then there's another aspect of it that really dives into the decision journey. So the book covers it all. And what I've realized is it's really more helpful to folks, rather than a big, long 12, 14-week program to teach all of the hero method. I focus it in on these specific things that folks want to learn. So that's the difference.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Great question. Thanks.
Yeah, I can see your books right behind you. That's why I asked.
Oh, right. Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, but of course. How does she know about my books? Oh, yeah, they're right there. I thought, man, you've done your homework. Okay, who's next? Anybody else? I'm sure you have questions. Don't be shy. I tend to be one, honestly, I tend to be one that doesn't ask questions, and doing more presentations, I'm bolder about asking questions, because it really is true. It helps everyone. If you have a question, the chances are good that other people have a similar question, or that's going to be really helpful and illuminating to them too. So I really encourage you to ask whatever question is on your mind. Just go ahead and raise your hand. Kimberly, do you have another question?
Yes, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm wondering, does one need to come to the course knowing who your target market is and what your main message is? And then the course is about helping one market that and put it into content that, so yeah, that's my question. You have to come knowing, being clear about who your audience is and what your offer is.
No, I would say not. And if that's the case, what we can do is absolutely get you up to speed really quickly in that regard, if that's your situation. And then, so that's part of that first part. The first couple of weeks is kind of making sure we're all clear on that. And then we know what the marketing project is that we're actually going to create together. So no, you don't have to have those ducks in a line before to take this course and get the goodie out of it. That's a great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody?
Kathryn, there is a Dottie who has a question, but she can't seem to press the
To raise her hand?
hand raise. Yes.
Okay, Dottie. Hi there. You can talk. All you need to do is unmute yourself. Are you able to see that? It's the bottom left of the screen. It's a microphone. Just go ahead and unmute yourself. You try to, maybe I can unmute you from here. No. There you go. Hi, Dottie. Well, you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. Okay, so Dottie, was that your, so can, Dottie, I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Maybe what's best is, did you already write it in? Yeah, so your question is, I'm not sure, oh, I'm in the beginning of my journey. I've not succeeded yet. How am I a hero? Oh, wow, that's a loaded question, Dottie. You're a hero, and Dottie and I know each other. She's taken my magnetic messaging course as a current client. So, right, it's not about whether you've succeeded or not in this particular adventure. We are all of us on a journey as entrepreneurs. I call it a visionary's journey. And actually, it's a whole nother cycle of this whole experience of being entrepreneurs. And we started out in the ordinary world, in the wounded land, right? And then we were on the quest to build our elixir. And, you know, how do we master being entrepreneurs, right? And ultimately, our wounded land will be healed. But it is about, the fact is, we have been heroes before. We have learned a tremendous amount, that we have something to share. And that's how we are heroes. We were heroes, we are heroes in our own journey, as we're doing it now. And as we're grappling with one we didn't talk about one of the motifs in the hero's journey is obstacles, trials, and ordeals. That's a very common motif. And we know those, right? As entrepreneurs, we encounter obstacles. Do you remember in the video, there was Hope like hitting her head against the wall? We've all had that experience. And what we do as heroes is we figure out how to get over that wall, how to go around the wall, how to break the wall down, how to get beyond those obstacles. So that's why we're heroes. That's what heroes do. That's why all of us on this call, we are all heroes in our journey. So I hope that answers your question, Dottie. If not, I think it was just a great thing for all of us to hear. So thank you, dear. I'm sorry we weren't able to actually hear you, but I'm going to mute you again, and let's see if we've got other people who have other questions. Yes, Nina, let me let you talk. And all you need to do is unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Hi.
great.
First, that
Hi,
was a
Nina.
great presentation. I loved it. I definitely resonated with it emotionally. So my question, I hope I can articulate this well. I mean, I know some of what my strengths are, certainly my skills, and I can imagine even if I used this method, there would be people who wouldn't, even if I was tuning into their hero's journey, certainly not mine, wouldn't want me as a mentor because it's just not a good fit. I mean, how does it work? Because you're obviously not attracting everyone, right?
Right.
So yeah. So are you also, is that in the mix, that it's also being authentic, and what, say, I would have to offer would attract the people who would want that on their particular hero's journey, even if our journeys, this speaks to an earlier caller, are really different? It's not about us being the same.
Exactly.
It's about it being able to facilitate for that person wherever they're at.
When we talk about, you know, again, we're in what we talk about today is identifying our ideal audience, our ideal prospect, and what are they wanting and needing and yearning for. And when you identify that, and again, back to that original question, we can absolutely very quickly figure that out in the first couple of weeks of the course. And once you start talking about those things in your marketing materials, then you'll be attracting folks who resonate with that, and you won't be attracting folks who don't.
Okay.
So that's, for example, back to my corporate experience. If folks in the corporate world, they're wanting and needing something completely different than entrepreneurs want. So two
Right.
very different audiences, two very different materials, two very different messages. Because most folks in like my clients and those folks, they're not on this call because they knew this webinar was not going to be teaching them what they wanted to learn, what they're feeling they need to learn for their career advancement, right? Versus growing your business, your heart-centered business.
Okay, great. All right, thank you.
Great
Appreciate
question.
that.
Thank
That was
you.
probably in the presentation, but somewhere I wasn't clear. But
No. That's a great addition to it. Yeah, thank you. Okay, who's next? This is fun. Nobody? Come on. I know you got to have a question. Something, somebody. Ah, here we go. We've got, two more. Okay, so Dee, back again. Nice. You go ahead and unmute yourself. And it says Dee Wilner. What is your first name?
It's fine. DEE.
DEE. Okay, good. Perfect then. All right, great. I just didn't want to be calling you by your initial.
That's yes. So I just was someone brought up about your books. So and how much are you doing? Is there going to be a lot of Q&A during the course? And will we be giving you specific content that you'll be commenting on? Like it'll be very different than just reading a book, right? It's going to be a lot of opportunity for feedback from you.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. Yes. And I'm sorry if I had not made that clear in the summary. Yeah, there are going to be 4 live training calls. So they're not going to be recorded. They're going to be live with me. So I'll be taking you through the training, and there will be absolutely, there will be Q&A at the end of each call. And then each week you will send me your homework, basically. There will be specific homework assignments. You'll send that to me. I will personally review them and personally give you feedback on the next call.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Great.
That's wonderful.
Excellent question. Thanks for clarifying that. And I apologize to everyone that I obviously didn't make that clear. That's why these questions are great, you guys, because there's things I think I've made clear, but I haven't, and that's on me. If this isn't clear to you, if anything isn't clear to you, then that's on me. And I really love the opportunity to be able to make it clear. So thanks, Dee.
Actually, but thank you for clarifying it further.
Sure. Awesome. Thanks, Dee. Okay, Kimberly.
Once again.
Yes.
So I understand that writing is really a practice and it takes time to learn and develop and hone. And I'm just curious how much we can really do in 4 weeks in this kind of format.
Remember that the yoga studio example?
Yep.
That person wrote it just by learning what you're going to learn. The video script that you saw, that was written by somebody who just took my course.
Okay, so we're not trying. Okay, so it's ways to be able to bring forth sort of our marketing content without having to fully train ourselves as fully developed writers in the meantime.
Well, I guess my point is you're a better writer than you think you are right now. Using the hero method, it just brings out the authentic writer in everybody. The fact that you can speak clearly means that you can write. And I honestly, guys, I think this is the importance of the grammar who needs it. And that little video, I recommend you watch it even before after you sign up for the course, watch this. And then I'll take you, it's going to be at the end of the course. There'll be bonus lessons after the course is over that I'll go through this with you. But it really is, we are all of us really good writers. We just have been trained to think we're not. And that breaks my heart. And so that's kind of one of the missions that I'm on. And that's why I created that training. So
Okay.
I wouldn't worry about that at all. I mean, I have so many examples I could show you. I just don't have the time to go
Yeah.
find them and do it.
No,
But really, people who just did not think that they were writers at all, they can just write amazing, amazing content.
wow.
Yeah.
And then real briefly, the courses happen Thursdays at what time?
Well, that's a very good question. And that depends on who gets in first, because like we had on this call, we had people all over the world. So deciding what the best time is going to be negotiable depending on,
Okay.
who all we have.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Who else we got? Such great questions, you guys. And so you may think this is really one of those, no such thing as a dumb question. Really no such thing as a bad question. Anything else? So we'll give you just a few more seconds. And then I'll let you go because we did run long. I appreciate y'all staying with me. That's great. I really appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, in that case, I love the fact that you stayed with me through this. I hope it was valuable to you. And I really want to look forward. I am looking forward to each and every one of you signing up for the program. The fact that you're here tells me honestly that this is the right time. This is the right time for you. And those are exactly the kind of people I want to guide. Those are exactly the kind of people who get the most out of my courses. So go ahead and go to the link. It has a little bit more information for you there, more testimonials from folks who have gone through the program, and also the link for you to enroll. So I hope to see you there. Wishing you every happiness and success. So until the next time, keep saying yes to the adventure. Bye-bye. See you soon.